All right. Okay. You can hear me now. Okay. Awesome. Sounds good. All right. Let's start over. And welcome to Mastering Cross-Cultural Communication. I'm Anna Kandrabura, and today I will be teaching you how to communicate better with your international team and your foreign clients. Let me tell you a few words about me if you still don't know me, guys. I'm the founder of English for IT. I'm also an executive coach, a social media influencer, and a public speaker. I'm also an author of a textbook, English for Tech. So if you are learning English for IT, or if you want to improve English for IT, make sure you check the book out. If you want to connect with me, please scan this QR code, or you can find the link to my LinkedIn in the chat that I shared earlier today. And yeah, let's stay connected. Well, let me also tell you what English for IT is. So English for IT is a unique service, is a unique training provider. So we teach English to people who work in tech or who want to work in tech. And we also teach cross-cultural communication and power skills. Power skills, they are soft skills, right? So we teach you those skills so that you can build a successful career in IT. We are an international team. That's why we know very well how to communicate across cultures. So please, if you don't follow English for IT, make sure you give us a follow on Instagram or LinkedIn. We always share useful tips daily that will help you improve your communication skills, your English and communication skills. And today we are hosting this webinar because it's actually not the first webinar we host on cross-cultural communication. It's our second webinar, because the first webinar we hosted was a success and you, our audience, asked for more. So today we continue talking about effective cross-cultural communication, and we're going to cover the following topics. First, I will talk about communication culture in speaking and writing. And I'm also going to talk about AI as a tool to improve our speaking and writing across cultures. The thing is that we live in the age of AI, and I'm pretty sure you guys have tried using AI to improve your speaking and writing. But let me help you with that a little bit. So I'm going to share with you AI prompts for effective speaking and writing. And then we're going to talk about top 5 effective communication hacks. And then I'm going to invite our special guest, right? So today we have a special guest who is going to share his tips for working on cross-cultural communication team. And, he has a vast experience working with multicultural teams. So I'm excited about that. And finally, I'm going to share with you useful resources, and I'm going to tell you how you can become a better communicator. I hope you're ready for that. And before we dive into it, before we get down to business, I would like to share amazing news here. Everyone who stays till the end of the webinar will receive a certificate of completion. What does it mean? It means that you will receive a certificate that you can share on LinkedIn and tell the world, let the world know that you have this accomplishment, you have this achievement. Imagine how your team or your boss, your managers, your team leads, how happy they will be seeing this achievement, right? Definitely, this is a great opportunity for you. So stay till the end. And if you want to receive a certificate of attendance, please scan this QR code that you can see now on the screen, and we will reach out to you and share this certificate with you. Please, please, please take a screenshot of this screen, or just to scan the code right now. Also, I would like to share some rules. Please be active in the chat, contribute to the discussion, share your thoughts, make some comments. I'll be happy to discuss them with you. No spam, please, no irrelevant messages, no offensive language. If I see anything like this, or my team sees anything like this in the chat, trust me, you'll be banned forever. But also, you'll be banned forever. Okay, I'm not gonna frighten you too much. And guys, also during the webinar, I will be sharing more information about the tools that can help you become a better communicator, right? We have a special course at English for IT that is called English for Communication course that lasts 7 weeks. And during these 7 weeks, you are going to practice different, things related to effective communication, in writing and speaking. That is why I will be sharing more information about this course during the webinar. But also, lucky you, everyone who is watching this webinar will get 50% off with a special promo code TECH50 to join the course today and start improving today, and start improving today to become a better communicator across cultures, to get that better job, or to get a raise, to ask for more money at your current job, and just to feel at ease when you have to talk with your team. Now, guys, you already know so much about me. I feel that this is not fair, and I want you to learn a little bit about you. So please share in the chat, what's your role, right? What's your job now? What do you do? Are you a software engineer? Are you a project manager? What's your role? Which cultures do you work with? Or which teams do you work with? Do you work with Asian teams? Do you work with Latin American? Do you work with Eastern Europe? Do you work with Americans? So share this in the chat. I want to see what kind of audience we have today, so that I can maybe adapt my content today to make it more useful for you. And also tell me, what is the goal of the webinar today? In other words, why did you join this webinar? By the way, kudos to you for joining the webinar. What's happening right now, technically, you are investing in yourself, right? So you are investing this 1 hour, 15 minutes in becoming a better future self, or even present self. So kudos to you, great job. And thank you very much for choosing me and English for IT to be your mentors during this journey, during this learning journey. Hopefully this is just the beginning for us, and we will continue our journey together as part of the course. Okay, let's get started. Communication culture in speaking and writing. So key tips. Before we talk about these key tips, I would like to remind you, if this is something that you didn't know yet, because if you attended our recent webinar on cross-cultural communication, you probably know this, but we have a lot of new people, so let me share this one more time. We can generally, when we talk about cross-cultural communication and we talk about cultures in general, we can divide all cultures in the world into 2 types: low context cultures and high context cultures. So what does it mean? Well, countries that belong to low context cultures, they typically, the way they communicate is really simple. Like, they don't use elaborate, complicated phrasing. They communicate in a simple way, very precise and very clear, right? So when you want to say something to someone from a low context culture, you can express things just like tell them what you think, about them. So you don't have to be creative and use metaphors to communicate your message. So in these cultures, when you communicate, repetition is appreciated, because repetition helps you sound more in a more clear way, and you can see from my illustration here that low context cultures are the United States, the Netherlands, Australia, Canada, Germany. So these countries communicate in a very simple way, very precise, and at face value. Like, I tell you exactly what I think about you. Now, there are high context cultures, and good communication in high context cultures is very sophisticated. Yeah, it's eloquent, it's nuanced, and it's really layered with metaphors. Or this is the case where when you say something and people have to read between the lines, or when people tell you something and you have to read between the lines. They're not going to tell you directly in your face what what they think. You have to understand it from context. And high context cultures, as you can see, a lot of them are Asian cultures: Japan, Korea, Indonesia, China. So countries that with a really old culture, right? And so technically we can say that a lot of European countries, they would be low context cultures, Asian countries, Arabic world, high context cultures, right? So I would say that Latin America would be more high context cultures. So that's what you can think about. So here is my first tip. When, let's say, you start working with a new client from a new culture for you, from the culture you've never worked before with, please check this, right? Check if their country belongs to low context or high context cultures. Then you will know how to communicate with them. And then you will know how they will be communicating with you, so you know what to be ready for. And now the first tip to actually to communicate effectively in speaking and writing with different cultures is you always have to be clear, right? So be clear regardless of the culture. Let's say you are, I don't know, you're talking to someone from a low context culture or high context culture. It doesn't really matter. You have to strive for clarity. And let's say you're writing a message to, or you want to say something, right? Or you're writing, like, I don't know, like a Slack message or something, or email, and you want to use ChatGPT to see if this message is correct. What are you going to ask ChatGPT? Well, the first prompt that I recommend using is the prompt to check clarity. So ask ChatGPT, is my message clear? Again, I think it will be more complicated for you to ask ChatGPT to write a message because ChatGPT doesn't know the context, right? So you still have to write the message, right? So write the message as you can, and then ask ChatGPT if this message is clear. So for example, as you can see on my screen, is the message clear? And this is what ChatGPT tells me. Again, I have two options here. Because one option is more casual response and the second option is a more formal response. Again, remember, using ChatGPT to improve your communication skills can be tricky because, like I said, ChatGPT doesn't have your brain. ChatGPT doesn't know the context. So you have to curate this process, right? You have to facilitate and operate ChatGPT. So that is why if you want to check your message for clarity, it also include whether you want your message to be more casual or more formal. Here is a life hack, guys, that I have learned having used ChatGPT for a while to improve, of course, my communication skills as well. Remember, like, even though I am an expert here in teaching you, but like I am always improving, because otherwise you can't be an expert, right? There is no such a thing as you learn something today and you never learn it again. Like, you always have to upgrade yourself, right? So here is a tip. If you ask ChatGPT to write a casual message, don't use the word casual, because when you ask ChatGPT, say like, make this message more casual, and then what happens? This message becomes super slangy. Like, ChatGPT uses a lot of slang in this message. You don't want that, right? So my tip, my hack, ask ChatGPT to write a semi-formal message. So you can say, make this message semi-formal, right? So when you say semi-formal, then it's gonna be proper language here. It's gonna be proper language. Okay, moving on. The second tip: you need to be concise if you want to communicate effectively across cultures. Again, you have your message. You write your message. Let's say, here's a message. Hey, I was wondering if you had a chance to look at the proposal I sent you last week. It's regarding the new project we discussed in our last meeting. Let me know when you get a chance. So I want to make this message more concise, shorter. And I'm going to run this prompt. Is my message concise? And then technically ChatGPT is going to make it more concise. So this is the prompt that I recommend using in order to make sure your message doesn't have a lot of unnecessary words, because this is what happens. Let's say if I come from a high context culture and I write a message to someone from a low context culture, what happens is I am using my style of communication, which is really a lot of words. Because remember, in high context cultures, people use a lot of words when they communicate. But if I'm writing to someone from a low context cultures, they don't need so many words. They need fewer words. That's why you need to make your message concise, shorter, and really to the point. Okay. Awesome. Moving on. Yeah, guys, let me know in the comments if this is something if useful. If you have any questions, please let me know your thoughts about these prompts. And also let me know in the chat if you actually use ChatGPT for for your work tasks, when you have to write in English, when you have to communicate in English. And while you are sharing your experiences with me in the chat, tip number 3, use correct grammar. Of course, for a non-native English speaker, one of the most popular prompts would be, is my message grammatically correct? Give me feedback on my mistakes. So please note down this prompt and use it every time you need to send an important message. Don't send important messages without checking yourself, right? Without consulting ChatGPT. Or I don't know, right? So you can write an email like this. Hi, Alex. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I enjoyed our conversation. I'm looking forward to move ahead on our project. I'm sure that the 2-week deadline won't affect our delivery. By the way, let's do a quick practice activity here. Can you please correct mistakes in the parts that are in the underlined parts? Can you please find and correct grammar mistakes in the parts of the sentences that I highlighted, not underlined, but highlighted, in the highlighted parts? I will give you a few seconds while I'm sipping my water here. Please write in the chat the corrected versions. Looking forward, we have the first answer. Looking forward to moving ahead. Exactly. We always have to use ing ending with the verb after the phrase look forward to. 2 weeks, not weeks. You know, it sounds the same, week, but it is written, it is spelled differently. And finally, not effect, but effect, right? Awesome, guys. You're amazing. Maybe you are ChatGPTs. Let me know. Are you ChatGPTs or no? Well, yeah, you did. You corrected it. Yeah, you did. You corrected the sentences. Absolutely corrected. Correct. Okay. Yeah, the reason, again, one more time, AI is great, right? As you can tell, you can use AI as your tool to become a better communicator, especially in writing. However, I have a few questions for you. Can you customize your AI assistant? Do you have your AI assistant? How often do you use your AI assistant? Can you customize it to your needs? Can you edit ChatGPT suggestions? Can you write prompts that give you the results you expect when it comes to effective communication? Can you do all that? Well, the thing is that I am, a big AI enthusiast. And what I also do, I teach teachers and educators how to use AI for work. And that is why what I did, I added a new lesson, a new module in our course, English for IT Communication, that you can see, at the bottom of the slide here. So there is a lesson on what AI is, how to set up your AI properly to make it work for you, not against you. And also I included lessons on effective prompting for work, and other useful tips, right? Tips and tricks, how to use ChatGPT as your learning tool when you want to improve your English and your communication skills. So this big lesson with the not one lesson but several lessons is part of the course, is part of the English for IT Communication course. So highly recommended. Make sure you save the promo code TECH50 and join the course. I don't know, maybe my team will will help me. Just you can see the link to this course in the chat, and please check it out. I will talk more about this course in a minute, but now I want to talk about top 5 effective communication hacks. And after this, we will move. We will invite our expert that is already on the line, waiting in the backstage. You cannot see him. I see him. But yeah, I will bring him on stage in a moment. So now, top 5 effective communication hacks. Number 1, and let me know if you've ever heard about this method. It's called bottom line upfront. Bottom line upfront approach. Bottom line upfront approach is the approach that helps you to communicate your message clearly right at the very beginning when you have to say something, right? So bottom line means the most important thing, right? Upfront means first, right? So first, when you start a message, you started with the most important thing first. So this is the practice. So the bottom line upfront approach is the practice of beginning a message with the key information, right? Key information, bottom line. And when you do this, it provides your reader or your client, your teammate, whoever you are communicating with, it provides them with the most important information first, right? So if you look at my screen here, you will see that the bottom line here is that the module 3 is not fully uploaded yet. And then all the other information, right? So this approach is really effective regardless of the culture because it doesn't waste my time. I know from the first second or millisecond what this message is about, and then I can read the details, right? So this approach is very important, especially for low context cultures like the United States, Germany, where they don't like bullshit, Well, let's not call it bullshit, but they may think it's bullshit, right? So if you don't use this approach when you communicate with low context cultures, people may think that you are unprofessional because you can't be direct. But you are not unprofessional. You just didn't take into account the fact that you are speaking with someone from a low context culture, and they expect you to be direct, precise, and clear. Remember the tips that I shared at the very beginning. So please use this approach especially when you communicate with low context cultures. Number 2, make small talk. Make small talk with everyone, pretty much. I mean, there are cultures that do not support. I mean, it's not like they do not support. They're not really big on small talk, right? For example, I'm originally from Ukraine. We are not very big on small talk, right? But because we're talking about working on a multicultural team and in the multicultural world, we have to make small talk. And again, let's think about cultures. Yeah, I have this pretty picture. Usually people really like this picture. There are two, again, when we talk about small talk, we can divide the world into 2 cultures, peach cultures and coconut cultures. What does it mean? Any ideas? Maybe you want to share, those of you who attended my previous webinar and you already know the difference between peach cultures and coconut cultures. So when you communicate with people from peach cultures, they are usually very friendly right away at the very beginning. Like, let's say you meet me for the first time, I'm going to be like super friendly with you, smiling, and I'm just like chatty. That's me. What do you think? Which countries are from peach cultures, or which countries have peach cultures? But then when you want to get to know people better, like more, they are not going to be so upfront about it. So they are like the heart pit inside, right? So for example, American culture is very peach culture because, Americans always smiling, they chat with someone they don't know. But then when you want to make friends, like real friends with them, it might be a little bit difficult. Coconut cultures are the opposite. They are poker face at the very beginning, but then when you get to know them, you can connect them and become friends easier, right? So for example, again, speaking about Ukrainian culture, Eastern European culture, it's a 100% coconut culture, right? Eastern Europeans are like coconut culture, because they never smile. You know, there's so many memes about the poker face and never smiling. And then when you get to know us better, it's really easy to become friends. So tell me in the comments, guys, which culture do you come from? Are you peach culture or are you coconut culture? Let me know in the comments. And the thing is, the reason why I share this information is because if you know which culture you're speaking with, whether it's a peach culture or coconut culture, you will understand why people make small talk in this certain way, right? So for example, in Latin America, personal relationships always come first. They are like really peachy, right? They are very friendly. They want to chat with you about like different things, you know, before they get down to business. So you know, make sure when you communicate with your clients or colleagues from Latin America, make sure you go beyond making small talk, right? And make sure you actually make small talk as the first move. So get to know them on a personal level to maintain this relationship, because they will be really friendly with you at your first meeting, but then you might be surprised why your relationships are not moving forward, right? Because you hit that pit inside the peach, actually, right? So that's what happened. So again, consider this interesting tip and trick. Okay, thank you guys for sharing all your information here, all your stories. Romania is peach culture mostly, but it depends on the person. Yeah, that's a good point, Laura. And I would like to bring this comment on stage here. That's a great point. You know, guys, when we talk about peach cultures, coconut cultures, you know, low context versus high context cultures, this is great, but this is also generalization. Some people, based on their background, based on their education, based on their experience, they might be a combination of different cultures. And that's a great point that Laura made. Romania is a peach culture, but it depends on the person. So again, take this thing into account, right? Try to get the person you have to work with a little bit more, so you can judge whether they are 100% peach culture or their combination. So really good point. Thank you so much, Laura, for sharing this. And I would like to move on to point number 3. Be polite. Again, I'm not saying that you are rude, but when you communicate with different cultures, they may think you're rude when you don't mean to be rude, right? So for example, if you want to make a request and you say something like, could I expect the agenda by tomorrow? Thank you. That's probably an okay request for a low context communication culture, right? So it's a quick interaction. Like, let's say you're talking to someone from Germany, that's exactly what they're going to say. Could I expect the agenda by tomorrow? That's it. When you talk to someone, I don't know, again, from Eastern Europe, that's what you're going to say. But if you talk to someone from a high context culture, like Asia, India, Latin America, the form of a request will be a little bit different, right? So it's going to, again, contain more words, right? So here's the difference. High context cultures, in order to be polite, you have to use more words, right? So you can say something, I was hoping to get the agenda by tomorrow, if possible, right? But also, you know, that's a high context of communication, but also like for low context communication cultures, this way is a more polite way to communicate. So again, you need to choose what you wanna, like you wanna be more casual or you wanna be more formal. So if you wanna be more formal, use the high context cultural way of communication. If you want to be more casual, use fewer words that is going to sound more like low context communication. Does it make sense? Let me know. Let me know. Does it make sense? Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And now tip number 4. Well, this is one of my favorite tips, you guys. One of my favorite, because I think this is one of the most important tips in present day communication. Because as you all know, we work, I mean, our world is small now, right? Because I'm here, actually, I'm in New York right now, in the United States. I was born in Ukraine. You are there watching me in Colombia, in Romania, in Ukraine. Where else? Where else are you guys from? Yeah, India. You know, you are all over the place. So we are a small world here. So how do we know how to communicate with each other without having to think about whether we come from low context or high context cultures, right? Without having to think about which culture we actually come from. Well, this is important, because if I have to think about so many things, I will work slower, yeah, and it will be more difficult and more stressful for me to work. So I'm here, and we are here to help you become more effective communicators in an easier way. So here's one tip that will help you be an effective communicator in any case, right? In every case. Use over communication. Over communication is your secret workplace weapon. And what it means that if you need to say something to someone, you need to be very, very detailed in what you say, how to say it, how it should be done, and other things. So let's say you want to ask someone to do something, you want to give someone a task on your team. Instead of saying, please do this, which is unacceptable, please do this. First of all, it's not polite. It's going to sound super direct and rude. But also, people might have questions like, why is she telling me to do this? Or, I don't know, or like, why me? Why not Bill from my team, or things like that, right? So use over communication. And instead of saying, do this, say what needs to be done in a polite way, and also why it needs to be done. So always say why. For example, I'm going to say, please join my next webinar. Why? Why do you need to join? I will be sharing important things about how to write emails, how to handle meetings, etc., etc. So that's the thing, right? So that's what you need to know. And now you're like, oh, okay. So Anna tells me to join her webinar or the course because I will be able to learn this, or this is what she needs. Also, sometimes when we tell somebody what to do or share some information, we assume that they know what we know. But usually, oftentimes, or maybe almost always, this is not true, because people don't know what you know. So assuming is not a good idea. Please don't assume what's obvious. You can think that, but this is obvious. I don't need to tell them this. This is obvious. They should understand that. I can say that, for example, join my course, and then I'm saying nothing, because I am assuming that it is obvious to you that you need this course if you want to improve your communication skills. You know what I mean? So that is why, do not assume. And also anticipate questions when you over communicate. It means that think what questions they may have, and answer these questions before they have these questions, before they ask you these questions. That's why, like I said, if you need to, delegate a task or make a request, share all the necessary information, what needs to be done, why, when, who, how. Don't assume obvious things, because what's obvious to you is never obvious to them. And this is not because they're stupid and you're smart. That's just like because you're two different people. And anticipate questions and answer these questions before they ask you these questions. And guys, I hope you're ready for tip number 5. And I'm excited to bring our guest on board after this tip. Of course, my tip number 5 is about feedback. If you want to master your multicultural communication, make sure you know how to deal with feedback. Make sure you know how to ask for feedback, how to give feedback, and how to react to feedback. And by the way, again, there is a big module in the course that is called English for IT Communication. there's a big module where we teach you how to give, receive, and react to feedback across cultures. So here's a quick tip for you. People usually think about, I want to learn how to give feedback, right? But also you need to learn how to ask for feedback, because for you as a professional, asking for feedback is a really powerful tool. When you learn how to ask for feedback, this is your growing tool. This tool, feedback, helps you grow, like period, end of sentence, right? So that is why when you start asking your managers, your team leads, your colleagues for feedback, but don't ask questions like, what do you think about my presentation, right? So if I want your feedback on this webinar, I'm not going to say, so guys, what do you think about this webinar? Do you like it? And you're going to be like, oh yes, Anna, I love it, because you don't want to upset me, right? You don't want to make me feel bad that my presentation is not what I expect it to be, for example, right? But instead, I'm going to ask you, which 2 or 3 things would you change about my presentation? So I'm going to say, I would appreciate your insight. So guys, please feel free to share in the chat, which 2 or 3 things would you change about my presentation so far? We're not done yet, but we are halfway through. So please share your feedback. I want to hear 2 or 3 things that you would like to change about this presentation. I would really appreciate your input so that I can improve it next time I have to teach this webinar. And, this is very powerful because, for example, in some cultures, especially in high context cultures, people don't want to give negative feedback. By the way, the United States is a low context culture, but when it comes to negative feedback, they are never willing to share negative feedback because they don't want to hurt your feelings, That is why this question that I just shared with you is a perfect way to invite negative feedback, because you are giving that person a permission to criticize you, right? So technically, I'm telling you guys, you are allowed to tell me what I can improve about my presentation. I am asking you this so you feel more you feel more like cool about this, right? You feel more willing to share this negative feedback. So please take this into account. Again, feel free to screenshot this part or write it down and share with your colleagues. By the way, guys, feel free to share the information that you are learning during today's webinar with your colleagues. Help everyone around you become better communicators. Then it will be easier for you to work with people. And let's recap what we have learned. So in order to be more effective communicators in speaking and writing, you need to be direct, concise, and to the point with different cultures, low context cultures and high context cultures. You need to build rapport and get to know people personally, especially with the high context cultures like Latin American cultures, for example. You need to be formal, respectful, and read between the lines with Eastern cultures like Asia, India, etc. So you need to really understand how the how the cultures work. Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, let me invite my guest on stage. Hi, Karuna.
Hey Anna, how's it going? And hello to everyone watching. Hello to everyone in the chat who's been sending in really interesting questions and comments.
I love this. Thank you so much for finding the time. I know you are a very busy professional, so thank you so much for contributing to making our community grow and making our community better. I'm really excited about our conversation today because I know about your vast experience in working with multicultural teams. So I have prepared some hopefully thought-provoking and exciting questions that I want us to discuss. But before we get the ball rolling, let me let me let you, right? I would like you to present yourself, a few words about you, anything that you want the audience to know about you, Karuna.
Cool. Thanks. So my name is Karuna Krishnasamy, and I'm a technical lead at a company called Internet Brands. I manage a distributed team of around 18 people. My team is spread out between Malaysia, Argentina, the US, and Nigeria and Central Europe. So it's a pretty geographically distributed team. I've been in the tech industry for well over a decade, across different industries within tech and working in multiple different countries. And I also do some work for English for IT. I run Lean Coffee every Friday, as you know, and as well as mentor a couple of tech companies across Eastern
I love
Europe.
this.
And
Yeah, for let me quickly share about our Lean Coffee initiative. Lean Coffee is a special format of a speaking club for tech professionals that practices not only your communication skills but also your ability to manage agenda-less meetings. And you can definitely join the speaking club, Lean Coffee Speaking Club with Karuna, that we host inside our English for IT Academy. If you want to learn more about how to join the English for IT Academy, you can follow the link that the team is going to share in the chat. Check it out and join it. And have the opportunity to join Karuna next time he is facilitating the Lean Coffee meeting. All right, so Karuna, let's start. Let's start with the first question here. So, do you have any personal examples when things went wrong due to miscommunication on the multicultural team?
oh yeah, for sure. I can't go into too much detail with incidents in my current job, but in my previous role, yeah, we've had databases, production databases, be dropped because of miscommunications, right? A database being dropped means that we've accidentally deleted production databases because communication lines had broken down, right? So that's kind of the more serious example that I can think of. But in the in the tech industry, really, when things start to go really wrong, it generally tends to be due to miscommunications.
Well,
And
what was it caused? What caused this miscommunication? Did somebody write, I don't know, unclear message, or they didn't, I don't know, inform, they didn't write the message at all, or I don't know, they made a whole bunch of grammar mistakes and it wasn't clear what they really want. What was the reason?
in the case of a database being dumped, it was too much ambiguity in the request, right? So we had a business development manager tell a developer, hey, let's decommission the Redis server, right? They didn't specify which Redis server. They just said decommission the Redis server. And the particular developer that they told this to was used to working in a context where the Redis server in their head was the main production one, right? And because that wasn't made super clear in the decommission message what to turn down, the developer happily went and hit delete on a production server, which of
Oh my
course
God.
created
Oh my
chaos,
God.
right?
I feel like the problem was not enough over communication, or not enough communication in general, right? Because the person was used to a certain way of communication, right? Which was over communication, and then the person joined the team that was kind of like making other people read between the lines, or this is what I was just talking about. They assumed that something was obvious.
Yeah, assumptions are really dangerous in our line of work, honestly.
I agree.
Um, and it's really something that I try to get junior engineers out of the habit of doing, right? Assuming certain things about the environment, assuming certain things about the work, and rather kind of training them to be as verbose as possible when they're doing things and when
Yeah.
they're communicating what it is that they're going to do.
So I guess here we have to, like, when we think about communicating across cultures, adopting this high context culture way of communication, when being verbose and using a lot of words when we have to say something, explain something, that is really the key for everyone here. And yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm pretty sure your junior engineers are happy because, like, you're an amazing mentor, and I know that how much you have been investing. I mean, you invested and you still invest, and yeah, how much you have been investing into your personal soft skills development, right? Can I tell the way how we met in Odessa, Karuna?
Sure, go for it.
Right, so guys, we've been with Karuna for, like, what, over 6 years at this point, or 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
6 years. And to be honest, like, right now, Karuna is you're in the United States, right?
I'm actually in Poland right now, but I'm
Oh
heading
my
back to
God,
the
okay.
States
So
in a couple
Karuna,
of
yeah,
days.
Karuna is in Poland. So we met in Odessa when Karuna joined English for IT, because he wanted to give back to the community. He wanted to give back to the IT community in Odessa and help them improve their communication skills, and also help yourself, like, right, and also give yourself an opportunity to improve your soft skills, like public speaking and like networking and other things, which is amazing, because being a software engineer or being a technical professional, you have really high level of hard skills, right, technical skills. But then when it comes to communication skills, when it comes to soft skills, you don't have a lot of experience, which you actually have to get. So that was like a great opportunity that is a great opportunity for a technical professional to first of all enhance their soft skills, enhance their communication skills, and also give back to the community. So thank you, Karuna, for making our community better and sharing your experience. Awesome. I'm ready to move to question number 2. Guys, if you have any questions down the road, feel free to drop them in the comments. Also, say hi if you are Karuna's student. And
Notice a few familiar names.
okay, yes. And question number 2. How can we avoid misunderstanding when working with different cultures? What are your go-to tips, go-to things?
So, I mean, you mentioned quite a few things that I do personally. One of which is really, I I don't really like asking people if they understood and presenting it as a yes no, like sort of binary choice. Because again, I'm the team lead, and people have the tendency of saying yes, I understand, without that necessarily being the case. And so what I like to do is to ask my teammates, how they're going to proceed with doing something, right? To give me the scenario give me the steps that they're going to take in order to achieve a particular task, instead of just asking them, do you understand, right? And when they relay that information back to me, then I know that they've understood or they haven't, and then I can take steps to correct that. The other really important thing that I find to do when working with international teams is to really think about the fact that a lot of your teammates might not speak English as a first language, and therefore make an effort to sort of simplify your language in such a way where you're making things as straightforward as possible, right? So maybe not overusing idioms or not using very complex sentence structure, but really just trying to make the transfer of information as simple and as efficient as possible, because at the end of the day, you want to get the job done rather than show off your really wide vocabulary, right? In a work context.
Yeah. Great points. Great points. Yeah, totally. So let me summarize it real quick here for our audience, just to take notes, right? Don't ask the question, do you understand? This is actually a useless question, not only in the workplace, but in life too. Like if you're talking to your friend or your partner in English or in any other language, do you understand? The person will always say yes. because we don't want to look stupid saying no, right? Because like when you don't understand something, this is automatically like psychologically, subconsciously makes you like feel stupid. Like I don't understand, but I don't want to admit it, so I'm going to say I understand even if I don't understand. So if we talk about communicating in the workplace, don't ask the question, do you understand? But instead, like you said, ask them to tell you how they're going to do it, or ask them to say what they think about this, or things like that, right? And and number two, be aware of the language, right? Are you speaking with someone whose first language is English or not, right? How well do they speak English? If they don't speak English really well, please send them the link englishforit.online, and they will speak better English, right? They will
There you
definitely
go.
better English. So yeah, be mindful about this. But as a native English speaker, I've met a lot of native English speakers who actually don't even think about this fact. So they speak with people from other cultures in the same manner as they would speak to Americans, right? Like Americans, they use the same language, but that creates misunderstanding. So definitely, good point. Good point. We do have some questions. Let's take some questions down the road before we move to our final question here. I'm going to bring the questions on stage here. The question from Eugene: are there some psychological tips for effective communication? Ooh, that's a difficult question, I think. Thank you, Eugene. Thank you for putting us on the spot. I think Karuna, while can I just start for a second here? I think that one of the tips that Karuna already shared just right now, this is also psychological, like don't ask the question, do you understand? Because like, again, psychologically, the person feels uncomfortable admitting that they don't understand. So I think that's like everything about communication is 50% language, 50% psychological, and other things.
Well, I think another, I guess you could consider it a psychological tip is if you're leading a team, try to create a space in which your team members, your subordinates, feel comfortable with asking questions in an open forum, right? Instead of just DMing you. If your team members feel like they can come to you with any question, no matter how silly it may seem, and they're not, they don't feel like they're going to be criticized or put down or made fun of, that generally leads to much healthier communication within the team, because I find using DMs to be really an anti-pattern. I almost never DM people on my work chat. I always make use of shared rooms, and getting developers to use shared rooms has been kind of a struggle, right?
I
Because
know
a lot
nobody
of them
wants
are
to.
kind of
Yeah,
introverted.
it's also a psychological thing, because like people don't want to be in this shared space because they are afraid to be judged for like how they talk about things or what they say. But yeah, definitely. So my follow-up question, Karuna, how do you make them actually use the shared space? What are your go-to strategies to consolidate developers who are usually or often introverted to actually come out and like share their thoughts in this shared space?
So when I get a new member joining, my existing team is already well aware of my style
Strategy.
of answering questions only in the shared chat room that we have. But if a new member joins and if I get DMs from them, I'll answer their DM, but I'll also say, in the future, I'd like for you to post in the shared team channel because of XYZ, right? Because it leads to information sharing amongst the whole team. And also, I might not be available to answer your question, but if you ask in the shared team room, someone else may get to it before I do, and it's more efficient. And after a while, they come around to that way of thinking, especially when they notice that our particular team chat is healthy in the sense that you can ask anything, and no one's going to say, "Wow, that's a stupid question," right? They're gonna answer you in a respectful way, right? And give you the information that you need. So
Yeah,
it's about creating that healthy environment.
So many things. Maybe next time we have a webinar, we should talk about how to create that healthy environment on your team. I really love this topic. All right, guys, we have 10 minutes left or so. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. And we have one more question for Karuna, and then I will share useful resources for you to become better communicators. So our last question for Karuna, what are the top 3 tips for being a better communicator, and what's the fastest way to get better?
So top three tips. Number one, be aware of the complexity of your language, right? Especially if you're dealing with people who may not speak English as a second language. Number two, using very specific language if you're in the tech industry matters, right? When you're discussing technical problems, use the right terms. Right? Ambiguity is a really, really terrible thing to have in our industry, right? Ambiguity leads to things going really, really badly wrong. And number three, this takes some time to build up, but it helps to eventually build an understanding of how to communicate at different levels of detail depending on your audience, right? The way I talk to my team, the way I discuss problems with my team is very different to the way I would discuss problems with the business stakeholders, right? There's a major difference. There are some things I can say in my team that if I were to tell business stakeholders, they would start to panic and read too much into it, right? And if you master that skill, that ability to figure out your audience and understand which level of detail works for them, you'll become a very effective manager of your team, right? And it's really like a force multiplier in terms of your effectiveness. As for the fastest way to get better, honestly, if you're able to find a good mentor, like good mentors really do help you accelerate your career in that they're able to provide you good examples of how things should be done. And I've been very lucky in my career to have a fantastic mentor, right? A lot of what I've learned about communicating in a large tech org comes directly from him, right? Especially using shared chat rooms, understanding your audience, understanding how to formulate questions well, all things that I absorbed from a really fantastic mentor. So if you're able to find someone more senior who can sort of show you the ropes, that's a good accelerator for your career for sure.
That's great, and I'm really happy that English for IT can also be the mentor here. And I will share some resources that will also help you guys to become better communicators across cultures. Because it's not like we can be mentors; we are mentors. Karuna, you are an
mentors for sure.
Yeah, you are an amazing a professional, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Thank you so much for letting me pick your brain. I will let you go at this point, and I am ready to share more useful tips and tricks for our community. Thank you so much, and
thank you.
We'll have you back soon. Okay.
All right. Catch you later.
Bye. Guys, now let me know what you thought about our interview with Karuna. Please drop your comments of love, appreciation to Karuna for finding the time to join us and share his expertise and knowledge with us. While I am moving on to our final, but one of the most important blocks of this webinar, useful resources and Q&A. I see that you have wonderful questions. I will be happy to address them. But first, I would like to share this resource with you that, to my surprise, a lot of you who actually work with international teams never heard about, right? You never heard of the Culture Map, the book that is a must-read book for everyone who works with multicultural teams, right? So this is where you're going to read about low context versus high context cultures, right? This book describes also the 8 culture scales that defined how different cultures communicate, how they think, and how they cooperate with each other, how they work. So I highly recommend this book because actually we also use this book. We also use this scientific approach from the book in our English for IT communication course. And as we just mentioned with Karuna, becoming an effective communicator is key. So I'm pretty sure you agree with me that being an effective communicator is key if you want to build your career. So the question to you is, are you ready to become an effective communicator? What are your thoughts? Like, you have just been listening to me and Karuna for 1 hour talking about effective communication and writing and speaking and multicultural teams. Are you ready to become better? Are you ready to become a more effective communicator? Well, the second question that we brought up with Karuna, do you want us to be your mentors? By the way, there are lessons, there are modules with Karuna in the course as well. English for IT communication course. There are modules with me and Karuna and a few other speakers that you can learn from. So if you are ready to become a more effective communicator, and if you're ready to if you want us to be your mentors, English for IT to be your mentors, English for communication, English for IT communication is your tool, right? And you can join today with 50% off. Please check the link in the chat to join. Use promo code TECH50. And the reason why, actually there are 5 reasons, at least 5 reasons to join the course. Number 1 reason, you want to work, or you already work with international clients on global projects, right? You don't have a lot of time, but you want to improve. This course does not require you to invest a lot of time because we used bite-sized learning technique, and it means that the lessons are short, but they are efficient. So you don't need to invest a lot of time daily. I know you're a busy professional. You need to join the course if you want to actually speak, if you want to communicate and not just to learn, because this is a practical course, that's not only theory here. You want to be ready for new projects that require effective communication across cultures, and you want to achieve your goals. If this is about you, then you need the course. The program of the course is a killer program. We technically have 7 modules. One of them, like I said, is a new module on AI, how to set up AI to make your communication more effective, what prompts to use, and other things that you need to learn. But also you will practice most needed and required communication avenues, like how to email, how to chat, how to speak more politely, how to communicate across cultures, how to make small talk, how to network, how to manage the team, how to present a demo, how to talk to a client, and many other things. Also, you will have a special module that will help you prepare for a job interview if you're looking for a job right now, for example. So please, you can also on the website, you can check the program, and you can see what you will be learning. And of course, we have actually at this point, we have thousands of students who have thousands of professionals, not students, thousands of tech professionals who have taken the course, and they have benefited a lot. And not only taken the course, they also received their certificate of accomplishment that, of course, they were able to show to their boss. And we even have success stories where people got a promotion or a salary increase because they invested in themselves and became a better version of themselves. When you take a course, this is an online course. It is a self-paced course where you get all the information online on the platform that is like super easy to use, that is a robust platform with various activities. You have video lessons, you have audio lessons, you have different activities and ability to practice communication. So you can practice your speaking and your communication skills right on the platform. You can access your personal account from the laptop that we recommended as the best way to improve. And don't forget, you can join today with 50% off using promo code TECH50. 50. Now, if you're ready to change your career and life for the better, I am inviting you to join. You can pick one of the 3 packages. Junior package, it doesn't mean that you are a junior professional. It means that this is this package is independent package. You get all content, all course content. However, you don't get mentor support. If you want mentor support and feedback on your task, choose the middle package. The middle package includes all the video lessons, audio lessons, all content activities, access to our private community chat, and regular feedback from our virtual and human mentor. Also, it includes a blockchain verified certificate. So if you pick the middle package, you will be able to get a certificate that you can then share with the world. And if you want to add live lessons with an instructor, with our coaches, with English for IT coaches, go for the senior package, right? In the senior package, you get everything that you have in the middle package, but on top of that, you get live sessions with our top-notch coaches. Also, you get live speaking practice. You also get an individual plan of how to improve your language. You will have a one-on-one meeting with me after you complete the course, and I will share with you my tips how you personally can continue improving. By the way, this option is also available in the middle package. So my recommendation, go for middle or senior package. And remember, 7 weeks and you will become a communication pro, 100%. So pick the package that you want. Let me know in the comments which package you want to go for, junior, middle, or senior, and go for it. Follow the link in the chat and go for it. So what should you do now? Now you follow the link in the chat, join the course, choose your package, junior, middle, or senior, register for the course. By the way, if you have some questions about the course, still register, and our client manager, Alina, will touch base with you, will reach out to you and answer your questions. But please register right now so that you can secure your 50% off, right? If you register right now, even when the code expires, you will still have it. And after you get the course with 50% off, you will have 6 months to study, to learn it. I mean, you can do it in 7 weeks, but you'll also have a 6 months access. So, and of course, lifelong access to our community and our perks. Yeah, so please, this is technically it. Here is what I want to wrap up with this, guys. I know you might have some other questions down the road. So remember, if you want to receive a certificate of attendance, please scan the QR code that you see on the screen. If you want to receive a free consultation, let's say you want to have training for yourself or your team, right? You want to pick a course for yourself or for your team, please scan the QR code free consultation. And if you want, again, to sign up for the course, see the course program, there is another QR code. So 3 QR codes. In order not to lose all of them, I recommend that you just screenshot this, make a screenshot of the screen so that you have them ready for yourself. Yeah, this brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for finding the time. Thank you so much, for the opportunity to teach you, because I know that everyone is busy and you can't always find the time for some extracurricular activities, as they say. So thank you so much for choosing English for IT to be your mentors today and for learning from us. Yeah, I know that we didn't have, unfortunately, time. We have to wrap up here. We didn't have time to answer all the questions during the webinar. So please, I want you to join our Telegram community where you can ask the questions and I will answer them right away. Here is a link to our Telegram community. Let me share it real quick. Please join the Telegram community if you're not there. And if you had the question and I didn't answer it, or Karuna didn't answer it, please share the question again on Telegram and we will answer it. Thank you so much. And I guess that's a wrap. So till the next time, everyone.